please welcome the Member of the Parliament. So we have, of course, ambassadors. We have artists. We have businessmen. We have entrepreneurs. We have fashion designers. I'm very, of course, happy to say that we have the Under-Secretary General of the United Nations, who is a great supporter of art and music and culture, Alison Smith, not only because her husband is a great pianist and a composer, but it always helps for us. So thank you very much for being with us. Hungarian art, musicians, culture is everywhere. That's why probably you are here, because probably you heard this amazing singer whom we are going to meet in a very private and very informal way. I'm sure many of you came to Carnegie on Saturday. And we had the Bluebeard's Castle with the Budapest Festival Orchestra under the baton of Maestro Fischer, and of course the amazing soprano Ildikó Komlósi. I have to tell you, we've been friends with Ildikó since a very early age, because we started to work together. She became an opera singer, then I started to work for television, and she won the Pavarotti International Singing Competition in 1985. That was the time when Pavarotti came. He sang Rodolfo in the Budapest Opera House. I remember I asked him, Maestro, why is it so important for you to come to Budapest so often? Because he was a frequent guest. And he said that he was a very young artist. And he came to sing in Budapest. No one really knew who Pavarotti was. And he gave a concert at the Liszt Academy. And it was live radio. And what he realized, that by the time the concert finished, there were people queuing on the street, waiting to understand who this man was. So as a young artist, he understood how important this city and the audience is. And I think this is really, for us, so important when we bring artists here, because for them, the most important is the audience. It will be a very easygoing evening. I've known, as I said, Ildikó for a long time. She is full of life, joie de vivre, great sense of humor, and she told me, I can't be serious tonight. Don't even ask me to be serious, and tell your guests, don't breathe too much, because we don't have the cooling system yet. So, this is still, you know, that's the transition, as we are in many places in the world in a transition, coming from the heating to the cooling, so I hope it will be okay. She was born in a little village. She didn't born into a family of musicians. Actually, no one was a musician in her family. And her mother became her strongest supporter throughout her life. Her father was not so very keen at the beginning, her becoming a singer. And I was thinking, why don't we start the evening about finding out how she has found her path. There is a famous song by Zoltán Kodály, and you see in the program what we are going to hear. And of course, meanwhile, we are talking a little bit with her about her life. And it's called 3 Ways in Front of Me. Everyone has to make or many decisions in life, which way to go. So, first of all, I would like to ask her very good friend, the pianist, Marian Holló, to come and to take her seat at the piano. I have Nagy Böze Orpermeister. I will say. Okay, Marian Holló. When I asked Ildikó whom you would like to bring with you, she said, she's my best friend. We went together to the Music Academy, we worked all the roles together, we learned the roles together, so she brought her to us. And I'm very happy to welcome who is now the professor of the Liszt Academy. And of course, so, to start with, how to find the path, the direction to choose. This is what she's going to sing first. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor for me to welcome Ildikó Komlósi. Thank you very much for coming and being with us. I know that you are really totally tired after this very difficult Sunday evening, but I must say some of us had the really great honor to be in Carnegie and to listen to your Judith in Lubitz Castle. When we were planning this evening, I asked you what made you become a singer. What was your path? What was your direction? And that's why we choose this beautiful Zoltán Kodály song. By the way, that's your Zoltán Kodály there, who collected the beautiful folk songs, and this is one of his collections. So, how did you become an opera singer, coming from the countryside, from a little village?
Very, very small village. 4,000 people. And actually, until I was 16, I never heard an opera. But my mother had a wonderful voice. She's a very, very, very tiny little woman with, very, very deep voice. I don't have this deep voice. She has fantastic voice. And my father, who came from Transylvania, he's from Jedlovölgyes. And he played, how do you say harmonica? Harmonica. Jaj, de jó, hát itt magyarul is beszélnek. Jaj, de jó nekem. So everybody was sort of musical. And after in this, let's say so, socialism or
Socialism, it was called socialism.
socialism.
When we were young, it was called socialism.
Yes. I just wanted to find some very nice word for it. So it was great, because when I was 6, they were searching for talents. That meant that if you can do pa-pam, pa-pam, pam, pam, then you were talented, so you go to the school and you learn music. It's quite hot here, isn't it?
It will be hotter. I'm sorry, because the problem is, you see, we don't have the cooling, just the heating. I'm really sorry, no one thought it would be 24 degrees today.
So, my mother had this extreme, I want to do it, but the father didn't let, not even study, not even go to the school. She wanted to a teacher, but in a deep down dreams, I think she wanted it to be Blaha Luisa, means a very famous actor, actress. And then my father didn't let me go, and she made me escape from home, literally. And then my father didn't speak to me for half a year. And after, he said, well, your teacher said that maybe you have a voice. And that was it. So that was our choice, but it was not really my choice. It was my mother's will and wish.
And here we are at the influencing ladies and women, and of course throughout your career you were singing the great women roles. I already told the audience that in 1986 you won the Pavarotti International Singing Competition. And of course, after a great school, Liszt Academy, being member of the Budapest Opera House already, that really opened the door for you in the whole world. And I also shared the story how Pavarotti really liked very much to be in Hungary, to discover young talents there. And you were one of the great talents whom he gave actually a great possibility, because then you sang with him and Lori Mazel. That was really, in a way, the prize for you.
And it was really something special, because, well, actually I was 25 years old, and when Pavarotti sent me to to mother to hear me. And that was one thing I had to, just little tiny thing. I was singing always La Favorita, okay? And during the competition, he stopped me. Ildikó, are you tired? I said, no. Yes, you are tired. You go home. You come back for the next round. So that was it. He never wanted to really hear again the aria. That from the very beginning, I was a winner. No, and it's typical Luciano. It really, I mean, let's not waste time. And when I went there, he started to say that, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I said, oh my God, it didn't go well. And after they just told that I have the contract, and I said, oh my God. Well, it was something fantastic. I mean, think about it. You are 25 years old and you can sing with Pavarotti.
Okay, and let's speak about the main roles, women roles, what you started to meet throughout the time. It's always a big question what the artist gives into the role and what, of course, the role makes out of the artist. We are, of course, coming close to one of the great roles at your beginning of your career, which was Carmen, and you have become world famous Carmen everywhere. And I remember it was in 1993 when I saw you, and she was so very thin as now, very long red, big hair. She was the sexiest singer on the opera stage, and the television cameras from all over the world were following you, and we were just so very proud. And you were able to catch Carmen. You see, in the UN, there are many great women ambassadors and leaders from the UN. We are very much working for the empowerment of women. And Carmen is a very important figure in that, of course.
Yes, I have to add. I mean, maybe I was a good Carmen, I was a nice Carmen, I had low hair, whatever, but the most beautiful woman in this whole circle, it was Kati. No. I tell you, I mean, when she was on the TV, I mean, you Carmen, who's Carmen? Look at Kati, look at Kati. Yes, it's true. It's true. No. Well, Carmen is someone like all women are. Everybody has, I think, her own Carmen, but it really depends from the man. I mean, women, I mean, we can be nice, we can whatever, but as a man can look at you, and then comes something, I mean, it's just, I don't know, I mean, I am not making for myself any sexy movement or whatever, but as the look, I said, oh, God, well, I mean, it's, we cannot do anything alone, we need a man, okay, and it's whatever women role, I mean, this was very, very important for me, who is with me. And I was very, very thankful, even if the tenor, because I'm a very, very tall woman, I mean, he could be like that. So, I mean, I didn't mind, but if I felt a man, then we had the role, we had the situation. So it's, but it's not just Carmen. It's even, for example, I made my debut at the Met, and my darling Emmy, who was my sister, is here. Hello, Emmy. When was that? When was your debut in the Met? Do you remember? Emmy, do you remember? Emmy, help me. Do anyone remember? Well, my son was 1.5 years old. That means that 99. And so it was Thomas Hampson. Thomas Hampson is a beautiful man, no? I mean, to be in love with someone, not just because beautiful, but tells something. Because it wakes something from from here, you know. That's the woman. Nothing else. I mean, all the other is just something fake, which I don't like, and then therefore it has to be real. Every sentence, every word, every feeling, every look in your eyes, so when it's not real, then let's not do it.
But Carmen is a tough woman.
She is. But
are you a tough woman, Ildikó?
Oh, of course I am. You can tell, you can see, no?
Yeah.
My son is telling yes.
The son is
God.
here with us, of course. So, how many times do you know you sang, Carmen?
110, something like that.
110.
Yeah.
And Judith, how many times was the Sunday performance?
185.
185 times Judith, Sunday, and 110 Carmen. And now we hear a little bit from Carmen.
If you want.
Just a little bit. 111.
May I use this?
Oh God, it's hot. Yes.
Thank you, Lucy. Right.
I have my manual, air condition. Very good with the carpet.
Okay.
Look at my dress.
Very good. Yeah. Going back a little bit to Carmen, there are different roles, as we were talking about, with different directors. So many times you sang Carmen. Was it always different? Was it really related to the conductor, to your partners? We heard, of course, but what about the directors? You worked with all the great directors on the stage, everywhere.
I love Daniel Oren. He was conducting sort of all my performances at the Arena of Verona. And I just loved him because he was the only one. There are many, many wonderful conductors, but he was the only one who would keep the Carmen, the French side, the chanson style, and everything. When you have this 16,000 people in front of you, and I don't have this, okay? So you have to feel the whole arena, and everybody. I have to send the voice and the intention, everything until the last row. So I just love it. I love more than it's big and bigger. I just love it. I don't know. I feel like I can arrive, I don't know where, and I can really take this last person there. And this is fantastic.
And sometimes, actually, in such an intimate setup we are here, it's sometimes more challenging. Yes, absolutely, because they see you from so close. So this is really when you don't have really a role, you don't have a length of an arena or a length of the theater.
It's the same. When the art is honest, and without honesty, let's not do it, let's go home. I mean, let's have a drink, whatever. You
can have drinks with being honest as well, I think.
yeah. But
Right.
I know, but it's what I say is if your feelings are and your human being and being artist is true, then you don't have anything to hide, anything to feel shame. I mean, just can give what you got from there. And they usually say, why are you giving so much? You have to spare, you know. I mean, I cannot. I give whatever God gave me for today, and that's it. And after a good night's sleep, and tomorrow I'm ready to give another. Just, you know, because I feel it.
Well, Ildikó, as it was so easy, right? I just want to say, Carmen happened in Budapest, and of course, you moved to Italy because you married an Italian man.
Yes.
And you gave birth to your son, who is here with us.
Giuliano.
And probably you wouldn't imagine that someone who is already so successful, singing in so many places in the world, studied so much, decides to study again. And as you told me, you started everything from the beginning.
I had to. Because when I started to sing, I asked two things, sort of from there. Please, God, don't give me that I will be a singer who is singing 2 or 3 roles. I would like to sing so many things, and from Strauss to Verdi. I just wish to find all these wonderful, fantastic characters. And the other, that give me brain, that I don't destroy myself, that I will have a very short career. I want to sing long. I want to enjoy it. every second of it, and I think I'm so lucky, because I had the strength. When my son was born, I was 38, and I just didn't feel I can still carry really my growing voice. So I didn't have the support well, I didn't have the position well, and I went to a singing teacher in Rome, and she said, okay, now you have to cancel everything for 6 months. And after the birth, I had, with Zubimeta, I had the componist, which is not a small role, I have to tell you. And I asked permission, like a little girl. And she said, okay, we will do this, but after, you cancel everything. And I canceled everything. Of course, the agent canceled me, because our word is not that funny as we sometimes think. And I started to learn to sing, I mean, with little seconds. For 2 weeks like that. And after, and that was after a month. And I said, oh my God. And I was always very impatient, very, you know, I was a sport lady, I was a high jumper, I wanted to really jump, and so I asked permission that around the piano I can run a couple of circles. But it helped, because it just relaxed me, and it worked. And so I have 35 years behind me, like singing.
Not only that you started to relearn and develop your mastery of singing, but you were also able to say no's. And this is very difficult, because we are allowed to say, because we are celebrating today the 60th birthday of Ildikó Komlósi. It will come. It will come. It will come. And I must say that, you know, when you are 60, this is just not an everyday situation that a woman with 60 sings like you. For that, of course, you have the talent, you have the knowledge, you have the experience, but you have to be very intelligent the way you carry your career. Was it coming from you? Were you be able to say always no? How was it? Because we've seen many destroyed voices and lives.
Unfortunately, yes. As I mentioned, one thing what I really didn't want, to have a short career, but it's very difficult, because the agents are pushing you. They are telling that without this role you will not make any career, which is maybe true, but for me it's okay what I have. No, you cannot do it. First, I was 28 or 29. They offered me from the Metropolitan the Dolabella. And I said, am I a Dolabella? Oh my God, what a horrible. So I canceled. And I was absolutely sure that I would never get there.
You mean to the Met?
To the Met. Yes, of course. After, I remember, we were working quite a lot with Zubimeta, and he said, okay, I have a fantastic idea. Then let's do collaboration with the Magyar Musicale and the Vienna Staatsoper. We do the Macbeth, and you will sing Lady Macbeth. And I said, oh my God. Oh my God, that's gonna kill me. But of course, I said, oh my God, what a role, what a woman, what a war. And so I studied. I sung for 3 months and all the high seas. Wow, I said, oh my goodness, I will make career, I will make more money, I will, wow, everybody will be happy, so I will do it. It was something like 17 performances. I mean, you know, to cancel 17 performances. And one day, I got a cold. I said, never mind, I go. And the first high C didn't come out. And I said, thank you very much, I cancel. Because it can happen. I mean, just the wind. Just, you know, when I decided to go to my singing teacher, that's my choice. But when it's written that I have to do today 2 rehearsals of it, and you have to sing 30 high Cs, then when you are a little bit sick, it's going to kill you. And your career is over. So I canceled. And I'm so proud of myself.
Brave. You were brave. You were brave. You brought from Adriana Lecouvreur the Principessa de Bouillon. And that's a very complex role. We will hear this aria now. And why did you decide to sing it to us?
Because it shows so many colors, so many questions of a woman who's very powerful. It's like if you take a program with Amneris, for example. I mean, she's the Faraonessa, and she cannot have the love. And the beginning of Principessa is the same.
Thank you so much, Ildikó. We are so lucky. I can't tell you that you are here with us and honored and happy and very grateful. So these are the moments what you just never forget. Little water? Yeah. We will have champagne afterwards and wine and all that comes later. So we were talking about the different roles, also what you have to experience as a person. And you got married, you gave birth to your wonderful and very talented son. You have a very special and I must tell you, a very, very strong relationship with Mom. You bring her everywhere. If you sing in Paris, in everywhere, Mom is there. So this is what a great bond. And for you, family is very, very important. And I would like to talk a little bit about all these different colors, what you have in you as a woman and as an artist. Because one thing is that you just know for the role what you are doing, but then you create your own life, not only through your roles, but from deep inside of you. You said you got the talent from up there, from God, and you can just be the happiest if you can transmit what you can do. So family, I would say the overall building of your life, this is also very, very exciting.
I don't think career exists without family. I mean, not for me. I could never imagine that I will not have a family. I wanted to have 5 children. I have 1, beautiful, lovely. The family was very, very important for me as well. But not just my family, my husband, my child, and me. I tried always to keep together everyone in the family. I don't know which one is more difficult. I mean, to be in career and get along with the other artists, but the family is something else. I mean, you try everything and you always have something. But the thing, my mother is 94, and she's fantastic. She's reading 1,000 pages a week, and high heels, of course, and curious. You can't imagine this curiosity. That's what gave me so much, because I'm curious for everyone. I'm curious for all the feelings. What, for example, you were asking what the role is giving me. Not everything is happening in our world, for example, with us, which is happening in the libretto. But it's extremely interesting. Even the epoch, I mean, it's fantastic. You can live so many characters, which you cannot live today. So it builds you, gives you everything, and you choose what kind of feeling you like, what kind you feel you build in your character, or go along, or oh my God, I would never ever do something like that. So it's a sort of education what we are doing with the roles, because for example, I am very familiar in a way with Carmen, but certain things I would never do. But I would, for example, for Amneris. It's so strange. She's a loser. She's a complete loser. But she's fighting until the last moment. And I'm a fighter, I have to tell you. And it's a great lesson what sometimes they are giving me.
Without being able to fight, you can't be really an artist in the world. It is a really snake pit. We know that. You know, I mean, there are so many difficult challenges you have to go through. Yes. I wanted to ask you, we talked about many times that after you give birth, your posture, your voice is changing. And very often we see that even the voice becomes even richer and even stronger. So what was it like in your case?
Oh, absolutely. First, I was a lyric mezzo-soprano, and as I was very, very thin and very tall, so I made lots of Rosenkavalier, and I think 90 or something like that, and the companies and sextus and all these roles. I was just eating them. I loved them. That brought me on a level which I never dreamed of. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, from Vegas and this is very, very, very tiny little something, and I go out and I just see that all the doors are opening. Yeah, maybe I already did it. I was opening every door, what I just could, and
curiosity,
the curiosity, yes, of course. But I never, ever forget that how I have to be grateful, and the joy. We cannot lose joy until the last moment. We just have to enjoy it and give and give and give, and from this we are getting so much.
Now, Ildikó, we come to the next song, which is again a collective song by Zoltán Kodály, and this is the Heartless Wife or the Bad Wife, different translations. And the story is very peculiar because you will sing both the girl, the daughter, and the mother. Very shortly, the story is that the mother goes to a pub and dances and dances and dances. Meanwhile, the husband is dying. And of course, this is a very famous song in Kodály oeuvre. And of course, when you wrote this, you said all the colors, what made these women who have got a dialogue is something what you have to go through all the time. So
I think to be a person and to be an artist, you have to go through a lot. Then you have something to tell.
What a big drama in one song.
Yes.
No, really.
No, that's what I said. There are so many colors in it. There are so many virtue, Hungarian virtue. You know, this is a very, very strong woman. She's giving and telling, and the daughter is destroyed, of course. So it's such a tragedy. I know it's very difficult to see without the hormone test, but this is so strong, and I love it.
Ildikó, I would like to go back to your Sunday evening, where we had the privilege to sit in Carnegie Hall and to listen to one of the great masterpieces of Béla Bartók, which is the Bluebeard's Castle. You became, I would say, the most famous Judith in the world. We know that 185 times you sang all over the world. I suppose in many directions, in many formats, in many ways. I personally believe that this Bluebeards in a concert format is probably the strongest. This is what we felt on Sunday. Judith is the archetype of the woman, as Bluebeard is the archetype of the man. So this is a very strong story. How has the role itself evolved in your decades you sang it?
First of all, and it's always different. I mean, you can tell this number is fantastic, big, because 185 times to sing a role, oh my God. I mean, what can you find in this? But it's not true. Every bluebird is another man. Every conductor is another man. And musically, I still find musically unbelievable things. I discover things. I said, oh my God, but I don't know this piece. And last time I was sitting between the flauto and the oboe, and it was so fantastic to hear how it's written. And the flauto, as the door of the flowers opens, you know, this. And it's so beautiful, and that you feel the wind, how it's written. Everything is written. So Bartek is a genius. That we know. But Judith, as a woman, as we are growing up together. I was 26 when I sang it for the first time, and a young woman is a young woman, and you sort of. But then the meanings are just the words, and you are singing, and what you are putting with the years behind the words. This is fantastic, and how you are changing, and we are growing together. There's so many things happen in my life, good, bad, sad, every kind of thing, like in everybody's life, isn't it? And it changes you. And it changes one sentence. And if one sentence is already changed, then it's growing until the end of the role. You're building from another level, you know. And it was so strange because I was there and I was very, very calm, and I enjoyed really every moment of it. And who was there, I think, could tell. But after I don't feel shame. I mean, I was crying and crying and crying because I felt something. From my heart, from me, I left something on this stage because I gave so much, and it was so honest, and so Ivan was fantastic, you know. I mean, finally we could get him because during the tour he had an operation of the eye, and he couldn't come, and we were seeking for him because, you know, when he guides, I mean, oh God, it was fantastic.
Yeah, it was just an amazing evening. Let's speak about another great role of yours, Aida. You opened the Verona Arena. When was that?
As well.
About 8 years ago, lately, no?
Yes, and after with Zeffirelli, La Scala.
Yeah. So, working with Zeffirelli and working with Wilson, two totally different approaches on the stage.
We love them, both of them.
Okay, so if you are a singer, you have to do what the direction tells you, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, were you singing in a different way, working with Zeffirelli or Wilson?
Zeffirelli is a completely different artistic way to work. Amore, ma che fai? Ma non andare, vai un po', no? Oh, sorry. I never understood everything. Because it's true. Because if you have your role, if you have an idea about your Amneris, or you see all the Zeffirelli films and everything, then you know exactly what he wants. This is a very classical, beautiful way, no? And I just loved it. Finally, I could really be sort of myself, because, you know, amore, ma sei veramente una regina, ma tu non devi fare niente, ma vai. And it was we understood everything. I did it. And he said, something is missing. And I said, what? You have to come out from the bath, you know, you will have all this, and hear nothing. And I said, oh my God, Franco, we are in Milano. You know what is in Milano? They are cutting our head off. So he said, oh, you're right. What a pity. I saw you before. And I said, oh my God. But it was like that. But with Robert, that was something else, because I had to jump in to a production, and you know Bob Wilson, you know all the movements, and you have to have a good memory to connect all the phrases with a sort of system of the movements, and it was Papano. So I went there, and the other singer didn't have the high notes, so I had the high notes, so I was the Amneris from this moment, and I worked sort of 17 hours a day to learn everything. But I loved it. I loved it because you have to understand the system. If you understand that, for example, if you feel something like very emotion, and you just make this, then it's not that. It's something which comes from here, you know. And if you use your whole body with the emotions, then it's fantastic. I just loved it. I love every moment. I mean, whenever you are asking me, I love everything.
That's the joy de vivre I talked about.
Yes.
This is you. Ildikó, this is you. Are there any roles which you would have wanted to sing and you didn't? Is there anything you haven't done what you dreamed of?
Dalila, I never sang.
How come you didn't sing Dalila?
Yeah, everybody told me I'm Dalila. Vocally, first of all, years ago, I really didn't feel it, because Dalila can be very, very low and very, very. But the thing, when I made the debut of Bob Wilson and Papano, the next day arrived from the Metropolitan an email that in 3 weeks I have to sing Dalila with Placido Domingo at the Met. And I said, oh my God. The role, I always study every role, so it's sort of, it was in my head. But the problem was that I had to go without any orchestra rehearsal. And I said, this is not serious. I mean, you can't do this. I just didn't want to destroy my experience, my everything with Dalila. And actually it just didn't happen. They asked me in Russia, St. Petersburg, and I didn't have the time. But you know, if you ever knew it, then you learn. If you open every door, then you lose something. If you don't leave some desire, then, you know, I'm not unhappy that I didn't sing. I sang so many roles and so beautiful places, and I'm so happy with this what I've done. But I'm not sad about it.
And now you will sing it to us.
Oh, okay.
Dalila.
Oh,
Sorry. Sorry.
With us, we invite you to the Hungarian buffet and continue in an informal way our conversation. Thank you.
I would like
Giuliano, légy szíves, fotó!
Thank you.